We have a new person in our American Business Spotlight. So excited about this one. And I can hold up props. I have props. But first, let me tell you, it's a new company pledging their support to us, and you need to pledge your support to them.
Right back at them.
Right back at them. This is LifeWave. We're introducing LifeWave. So Linda Harwood and LifeWave is a unique approach, very unique actually, to body health. So you can boost your body's innate powers and live better and younger with LifeWave products. So you can see what this is.
It's a patch.
It's a little patch, right? Okay. You can reactivate your own stem cells naturally with a phototherapy patch without medications or injections. Achieve age reversal by modifying a third of your genes. Receive rapid pain relief. This is just from this little patch, right? And reduced inflammation, enhance sports performance with faster recovery from exercise, enhance mental clarity. We all need that, especially me, and improve quality of sleep, also me. So you can go to our website just by like wearing this little patch, right? You can go to our website, chicksontheright.com/sponsors, click on the banner for our American Business Spotlight, where you can find a link to LifeWave, whether you're looking for natural products that will ease pain or discomfort, or products that will build your own inner source of energy. You're going to find what you need at LifeWave. This is pretty cool and innovative.
I am intrigued and would like to subscribe to their newsletter.
It's pretty cool. So you can go and find them there. LifeWave. Go to chicksontheright.com/sponsors, click on American Business Spotlight and check out LifeWave. Support her, support the company. Yeah, do that and support us by supporting her. Support one another.
And she's like right here in this audience.
Right there.
That's what I love about the American Business Spotlight, you guys. It's just the greatest. Ooh, there's the box. Look at like that's some high-tech packaging right there.
There it is right there. Damn. There it is right there, LifeWave. Pretty cool, you guys. Pretty cool.
Pretty cool indeed. So you should be checking those out. So it is, for those of you who are like, hey, it's Friday, that means we're going to see Coda. You might want to tell people what's going on with Coda.
Well, I didn't sleep much last night. Coda kept me up last night. He got me up like 6 times and said, hey, Mom, I want to go outside like 6 times last night. And didn't really need to go out as much as just wanted to wake me up. So I didn't get much sleep last night. And then he's now in his crate, you guys, because he was climbing on me and like screaming and yelling. He's just been kind of a nightmare this morning. So he's in his crate. Right? So if you hear wailing in the next room, I have 2 doors between us. But if you hear wailing, that's Coda. He's been kind of a terror. He's been kind of a terrorist today. Is what he's been. A giant 70-pound terrorist. Is what he's been today. So now he's wailing in the next room. So
I hear him. Oh my gosh.
You heard that?
Yeah.
God, I hope he's not disruptive during the show, but
it's fine. Even if he does that the whole time, that's hilarious.
He's been a complete nightmare for the past 24 hours. So you guys, I'm so sorry. But anyway, so that's happening and I'm sleep deprived. So you guys this is why you get this today.
Yeah, I'm not at my best today either. But it's so interesting because I just saw a TikTok like 3 days ago, I think, of a woman who was talking about puppy remorse. And she was like, no one talks about this. No one ever talks. And we all go through it. No one ever talks about the fact that as much as you love your puppy and you don't regret your puppy, you would never, you want your puppy. There is a period of time in puppyhood where everyone goes through this, like, what have I gotten myself into?
What have I done? Yeah.
And we should talk about it. She was like, there should be no guilt or shame about this because this is normal. And it shouldn't, like, people shouldn't be like railed against just because they go through this. And so I'm now thinking of you that it's okay.
You can probably hear him right now.
I can't. Okay. Because I was talking, so I couldn't hear over me.
Yeah, puppies are very destructive, like children, but he's very destructive. And I think I love him the most when he's sleeping.
Right, because then they're so cute.
Right now he's so God, and when he's really sleepy, I'll look into his eyes and he looks back at me, and we have our moments, and I'm like, God, I just love you so much right now. Right now, I love you so much, and then you're gonna get really lively. Right. And then I'm going to want to take you to the pound.
Right.
and I'm going to
Just
say that
know
to
that
you.
you should not feel guilty about that at all, and that it's
Yeah,
normal, and it is the
right.
exact reason why
Oh,
I
yeah.
will never have a puppy.
Right. I mean, listen, and I know he'll grow. We've had a gajillion puppies. I totally understand this, and I know it, and they grow out of it. But he's right now. They go through there, and he gets the zoomies. And when a 70-pound puppy gets the zoomies,
Oh my god.
it's different than when like a 10-pound puppy gets the zoomies. Because you've got to like brace yourself because he
Yeah.
will hurt you. And so it's, yeah. And I can't have that when I'm on the show, when I'm talking to you fine folks. So anyways, that's where I'm at this morning.
Oh my
It's been a
gosh.
morning, you guys.
Coda.
Pray for me.
I just a moment of quick personal privilege, if I may, to compliment the fine fellow that I spoke with, and I'm not making this up, at the IRS yesterday.
What?
I
What is
know.
even happening?
I know. I was stunned. So my kid, we have a what is it? I don't remember what it stands for, but we have a UTMA for our son. And so because of this savings account thing, he ends up having to owe a little bit of taxes every year, which means we owe the taxes every year. Okay. So for some reason there was like a mix up, and we sent in I think it was like $40 that we owed, right? So we send in the $40, and this was like they cashed my check on June 26th. Yesterday, I get a notice in the mail saying, you not only owe the $40, now you owe interest too because you haven't paid it. And the date of the letter was like yesterday's date. And so it was well after they had cashed the check. So I was freaking out. Like, I don't want the IRS like tacking on a bunch of interest on top of interest on top of interest when they've already got my money. You know what I mean?
Yes. Oh
So
my
I'm like, what
gosh.
do I do? So there's a number on the form letter that you can call. And I'm like, oh, this is not going to be good. And I call, and of course it says, your wait time is 30 to 60 minutes, which it was. I think I ended up being about 35 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I can run and do other things and keep it on speaker and it's fine. But then the guy that answered the phone, he sounded like he hated life so much, like just hates his life, right? And he was super hostile. And I could not have been nicer. Like I was just as nice as could be. And so he was like, who are you calling for? And I said, this is my son. Well, is he a minor? Because he's immediately wanting me to not be able to talk about it. And I was like, yes, he is. And he's like, well, can you verify whatever, your social security number, your address, all the stuff. I do all the verifying. I couldn't be nicer. And then it takes forever for him to look and see what's going on. And so he said, well, what is the date of the letter that you got? And I said, it's yesterday's date. And he said, well, when do you show that we cashed the check? And I said, June 26th. And he was like, well, the mail is really, really slow. And I'm like, I'm aware, but
No kidding.
I wouldn't have called if not for the date of the letter being so far after the actual cashing of the check date. And then all of a sudden he becomes super friendly. And he was like, yeah, you know what? I see right now that we do have your check and it has a zero balance and everything is fine. Sometimes there's like other department that just, post dates like these letters to go out, and we don't know why. It doesn't make any sense, but that's just how it works here. And I was like, okay. And I'm just laughing because I'm like, this is just so emblematic of everything about our government. And he's kind of starting to make fun of it too. And I was like, okay, well, you know what? Thank you so much for checking. And I really appreciate it. He was like, is there anything else that I can help you with? And I was like, you know what? I really wish there were, because it always takes so long to get in touch with anybody there. And I wish I had something else to talk to you about. And he became so friendly after that it was just super nice. And I was like, okay,
you like had
it
a
was a
human
good
being.
IRS experience.
A human
there it
being
is.
at the IRS, yeah. And were you like, tell hello to your 87,000 other friends to me,
Right? I mean, I just was
Mhm.
like, okay, well, I broke him, because he
Yeah.
started out being kind of a jerk. And then I was like, I'm just going to kill you with
She
all
was
kindness.
she was Ivan Drago yesterday. I will break you.
I must break you.
I will break you.
So
Uh-huh.
anyway,
Yeah.
speaking of money, I know I told you guys yesterday,
Mhm.
but have you texted the code chicks,
Should
not the
totally
word
do it.
chicks, to
Do it.
989898 to get your free information kit from Birch Gold? Because this Information is information that you need. I promise. If you don't have this information, this is information that you want. And then you may look at it and read it and decide, I see what they're saying, but I'm just not interested right now. That is fine. There is literally no obligation. When you text the word chicks to 989898, all you're going to get is information that you can do with what you want. So there's no obligation. You're not roping yourself into any long-term commitment of any kind about anything. You're just getting educated. That is all. There's no one better to do it than the people at Birch Gold. So just text the word chicks to 989898. Okay.
Somebody said that you can make Mussolini smile. Tiffany said that. Very sweet.
I don't know about that.
It's very sweet.
I don't know. I feel like this is a good thing. I don't know, but I saw a headline yesterday that said the FDA has approved the first ever over-the-counter birth control pill that is coming out in 2024. I feel like this is a good thing.
Interesting. Yeah, that's very interesting. So no prescription required.
At least for this particular one. And I know there's so many different ones, so I don't know like how many women this will help. Obviously, I'm well past that age to have
right.
To
Me too. It's like there's no babies happening up in here. Okay.
No babies.
No.
Not at all. And no birth control needed.
No.
But I think it's great. I think the more contraception that is readily available is a good thing. So
yeah,
because
abortion is not birth control.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Santa Clara University in California. When I saw this, I was like, oh, this must be an old article. No, Santa Clara University in California has just now, ahead of the beginning of the school year, just now said every student is required not just to be COVID vaccinated, but specifically to be mRNA COVID vaccinated. And if they're not, they need to withdraw. This is happening right now.
Why now? After everything that we've learned, these people are whack.
Yeah.
I cannot. And if you're a parent or if you're a student there, how can you be willing to do this after everything we've learned? I mean, I know it's California, but what in the world is happening?
Right.
I would be like, bye.
I mean, we know young people don't need the vaccine, and we also know that young people who get the vaccine are at risk of all kinds of bad things.
Yes.
So the fact that it's like, where
what planet?
have they been?
What planet are they living on? Yeah.
It's
completely asinine. I just cannot believe this. A mandatory mRNA vaccine.
Yeah.
I hope that their enrollment just completely plummets.
Same. I also hope that.
Crazy.
It's just bonkers. Also, Hunter Biden's attorneys have sent a cease and desist letter to Trump because they're mad that he keeps suggesting that the cocaine found in the White House belonged to Hunter. And so now they are sending Trump specifically, even though we're all suggesting that.
Everybody is. Everybody's suggesting it.
So now they're sending a big cease and desist letter. Like you're not going to be allowed to say that anymore. I hope they sue him. Bring out the discovery. Let's get Hunter drug tested.
Right.
Let's do this thing.
This is just ridiculous. I mean, of course they're going after him specifically, or they should sue everybody. We've suggested it. Every single person at Fox has, I mean, most of the people at Fox everybody is suggesting it because hello.
Yeah, since the investigation is now concluded with no person responsible, then the speculation is going to continue to run rampant. That's what you get.
Maybe if your dad would come out and say that it wasn't you, people wouldn't suggest that. But your dad has never come out and said that. You know, because if this happened to I guess, I don't know, Donald Jr. or Eric, and it happened in the Trump White House, Trump would have gotten up on a podium and he would have said, this is not one of my sons.
Right.
He would have come out and said, this is ridiculous. It's not one of my sons because my sons are not crackheads.
Exactly. He would have, that would have happened weeks ago. He would have come out. He would have been vehemently saying on the podium, if you even dare suggest that this is one of my kids,
I'll come after you. I'll sue you.
Right.
Because my sons aren't crackheads. But guess who's not saying that? Biden.
Yeah. Exactly. And that seems kind of odd.
Why do you think that is? Oh my gosh, I don't know.
Because they can't rule it out. you guys. You can't rule
Exactly.
it out.
Uh-huh.
Speaking of Biden, as you know, Biden has just spent some time at the NATO summit, and I just thought we would present to you some examples of how strong and intimidating he is making our country look. Okay, so this first clip is of him relying on note cards, you guys, to say hello to another world leader. Check this out.
Mr. President, it's good to see you again.
Oh my God.
Delight to be with you. And, you know, we're in this historic summit meeting. We're resolving a lot of things, I hope. And we made all the more historic by the agreement you reached yesterday and the addition of Sweden and how you.
Oh my God. He was actually reading note cards. That's what he was doing right there in that moment. He was reading note cards.
Mr. President, it's very good to see you again.
Oh
So
my
embarrassing. God.
God. Wow.
So that happened.
Yeah.
And then there was a press conference at which he answered questions. And there was this odd moment where he kept insisting that Putin has already lost the Russian-Ukrainian war, which I'm just not hearing that elsewhere. And so I thought it was a really odd thing for him to say. And it wasn't a mistake. He said it twice.
The issue of whether or not this is going to keep Putin from continuing to fight, the answer is Putin's already lost the war. Putin has a real problem. How does he move from here? What does he do? And so the idea that there's going to be what vehicle is used, he could end the war tomorrow. He could just say, I'm out. But what agreement is ultimately reached depends upon Putin and what he decides to do. But there is no possibility of him winning the war in Ukraine. He's already lost that war. Imagine anyway, he's already lost that war.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Okay. Well, if he's already lost the war, then we can stop giving those people money. We stop giving Zelensky any of our money at all. Like it stops today then, right? Because that's what I'm hearing. So then no more cash for you, Zelensky.
Yeah.
None.
Apparently this war is over.
It's over, you guys. It's over.
That.
Which is nice for us because we don't have to give him any more cash.
Oh my God. And then there was this, okay, so remind me if you would, and maybe, because I don't know. I know that Joe Biden likes to talk about his Irish ancestry.
All the time.
So, and I don't know how far back that goes. Like, is it his dad or mom that is Irish? Is it a grandparent? Like, how Irish is he? Does anybody know?
I have no idea.
Okay.
He may not even be Irish. Maybe he's just he's just like, I had Lucky Charms once, so I'm Irish, knowing him. You know? Anyway.
That's so probably true.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, because I come from Polish parents.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely 100% Polish.
I'm pretty Polish, right?
Oh yeah, you're pretty
But
Polish.
even I do not ever refer to Poland as my home.
Right.
Okay. And nor would I ever suggest doing such a thing as the president of a whole other country.
Exactly.
But that is exactly what Joe Biden does. He speaks, he's slurring his words and just speaking some gibberish. And like, I don't even know what he's trying to say, but just watch.
The Minister Yacoba, daughter of Ireland. You can tell that's a Freudian slip. I'm thinking of home. The daughter of Iceland, and I want to say I think we've had a very productive summit.
Okay, well, if that's his home, he needs to go back there.
Right? I mean,
Just go back.
What in the world? Why would you say that? That's not your home.
It is
okay.
that is not appropriate at all.
Oh
but if he feels like that's his home, he should just go. Go immediately.
I will help buy the ticket.
Right. We would all chip in for that. All of us. Bye. 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 You guys can have him. Ireland's like, we don't want him.
No, thank you. Thank you, but no.
We don't. No.
And we couldn't, wrap up this trip without a trip, right? Isn't that right? And these were the small chairs.
staff just braces themselves. They're all doing coke, just hoping to God. They're hyping themselves up, hoping that he doesn't trip every time there's stairs, every single time.
Oh my gosh, you guys.
It's a complete
That is our
nightmare.
president.
I know. It's our president. It's not good. It's not good. Visiting angels, America's choice, home care.
All right.
Speaking of which, visiting angels, they tried to do that on Fox yesterday. Greg Gutfeld, he was like, "How does the song go?" And I was watching. I was like, "I know how the song goes."
Oh my gosh!
I know. I was like, "Oh, they were doing it on the 5." I was like, "We know how it goes."
Deborah Rositi, thank you. Deborah said, went with a friend to see Sound of Freedom at AMC last night. Right before the movie was about to start, someone pulled the fire alarm and we had to evacuate the building. Coincidence? We did end up seeing the movie and loved it. Wow. These stories are endless. They just won't stop coming. And C Noons, thank you. C Noons says he's as much Irish as Warren is Indian.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably exactly right.
C Noons. Yep.
All right, moving on to candidates for president. RFK Jr. is still not going anywhere. Okay, so he still is at the 20%, polling mark. That hasn't decreased. It's not really increased, but it's not moved around. I mean, he's still a fifth of Democrats would prefer him to be the president. That's a huge statement.
And if he had more airtime, I think there would be more.
Yeah.
If he had more of a prominent, presence in front of them and they would allow him to have more airtime, when I say more airtime, I mean, obviously he has airtime on regular, platforms, but if the Democrats pushed him more, he would have a bigger polling number, I think.
Yeah, but they're treating him very Trumpily, right?
Mm-hmm, totally.
Or they're treating him like Trump treats DeSantis now. I mean, all of the ire, all of the conspiracies, all of the, the criticisms are just being hurled at RFK Jr.
Yeah.
And so Aaron Burnett of CNN had on a congressman to talk about this. This congressman referred to RFK Jr. as fringe, and she pushed back.
Yes, Congressman, I'm sitting here kind of questioning the use of the word fringe. Do you think that's fair?
I do. And I think the fact that you cite a poll where he's doing better than expected in the double digits is attributable not to his message, it's attributable to his last name. Oh. There are a lot of voters who see that name, remember his father. I campaigned for his father. He's a revered figure in my political life, but this isn't his father. And as the campaign unfolds, that will become abundantly clear. Remember, his own family has discredited his campaign and his political views.
I mean, it's unreal, right? It's unreal what they're trying to do to him.
It cracks me up that guy's like, oh, well, people are just remembering his father. There's a whole lot of people who were not around for his father. There are a lot of people voting.
Right. There are a lot of young people who like him for his views now who don't know much about his, the older people in his family. And if they knew about the older people in his family, they would probably dislike him because a lot of the older people in his family were not that great. And if, they weren't that great of people. So I don't know. I don't know if I don't think that's a very good theory. And man, they're going to do everything they can to squelch this guy. It's just pretty interesting how they're doing it. But I like the theory that, that Clay, is it Clay? Is it
Clay Travis?
Yeah. I like
Clay Travis has a theory, and so we're going to play it and we're going to talk about it. Here it is.
I think Trump is seriously considering putting RFK Jr. on the ticket. I really do. And I know people out there, you may say, you're crazy for even suggesting it. The single most disruptive thing that Trump could do in selecting a vice presidential candidate would be RFK Jr.
You see that DeSantis has said he will not be a vice president. So to be fair and to be clear, I've told you, I've said this on the show when people called in and they said, what about a Trump DeSantis ticket? I said, I think that would be very powerful. Ron won't do it. And now Ron has said he won't do it.
I think DeSantis in March, if Trump had swept to the nomination and he came to him and he said, I want you to be my VP, I think he would take it.
Okay. Vivek won't be a VP either because he's already said that, because we've talked about that. He's been asked that directly. He has no interest in being a VP. So when I saw this, I was like, that's very, very interesting. People are like, that's not a good idea. I don't like that. But Trump has actually said out loud, I really like RFK. I really like him.
And
when
RFK has said that he appreciates that.
That he appreciates that. Yeah. And so when I see that and I see sort of like the niceness between the two, I'm like, that's interesting. And so when I saw that theory floated, I thought he would win. He would win with RFK. Like it would be a shoo-in. And you and I kind of had a little bit of a back and forth on that yesterday. And I'm like, I just think that would be an unbeatable ticket if he chose RFK.
I'm not arguing with you about whether it would help Trump, whether it would help the ticket, it would. I'm saying I think it's not going to happen. Clay has been wrong about so many things.
Yeah, he has been. And
I don't see this happening.
If RFK agreed to it, it would be
happening.
If he agreed to it, it would be an absolutely unbeatable ticket.
I think that's probably right. I don't disagree that it would be a hard ticket to beat. I think it would be a much stronger ticket than a Biden-Kamala ticket.
Oh my God.
Sure.
Yeah. Because you would grab all those, like all the people who are sort of independent, who are looking at RFK and thinking he's interesting, and there are a lot of people are saying it's not going to happen. You never know. You just never know.
I just don't. It would require RFK Jr. to change his party affiliation, which I don't think he's willing to do. He's been a lifelong Democrat. And I can't imagine Cheryl, his wife, saying, yes, please be second
Trump's
to
VP.
Trump. Like
right.
That would, I don't see a possibility of this happening in any way. So, and the fact that Clay is like, I'm just sure of it, makes me feel like that's
right.
It's not happening.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you on that. It's like the confidence about it is that's a little bit weird because I don't know about, but if it happened,
it would be very interesting.
Absolutely unbeatable. Yeah.
You know what else is unbeatable is the dark spot corrector from Genucell. You guys, tell about your hand.
Oh my gosh. I actually had a spot right here on my face.
Oh, that's right.
Like
I don't know why I thought it was on your hand.
It was a little spot on my face. I mean, I do have don't call them liver spots because that's gross. But I had a little spot on my face that was really bothering me. I don't know why I get, when you get older, you just wake up with like these weird dark spots on your like body. And you're like, where did that come from? It's from and I'm super fair. Like I belong in a dark pub. And so I don't know, maybe I'm Irish like Joe Biden, but I just wake up with these, and that stuff really does work. Like if you use it religiously, the dark spot corrector, it makes those little weird spots go away. It's fantastic stuff. Yeah. The dark spot corrector is awesome.
It is. And the great thing about it is it is included right now in the Genucell Summer Essentials package that is currently 70% off. So that's in there. I mean, anytime they curate a package, it's always filled with awesome stuff for your skin. And so this is why we've been long time Genucell users. I will never use another skincare line. It is the absolute best. And besides, you shouldn't be wasting your money on getting the work, if you know what I mean. You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that when you have good skincare. So don't waste more time. Don't waste more money on all of the other stuff. Just go to Genucell.com/chicks and get the Summer Essentials package for over 70% off, you guys. Genucell.com/
Sin for the Win said, I wish they sold makeup. I do too. I wish they need to get into selling makeup.
They need to do that, and they need to get into body care because that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, we're waiting for it.
All over body care stuff.
Yeah, there's chatter. We're hoping.
There's chatter. There's chatter. Okay, so I don't know. You guys probably all heard that the investigation by the Secret Service into the cocaine at the White House, that whole thing was concluded yesterday with absolutely no answers. And so a representative, congressman I've never heard of, Representative Birch, I believe is his name. He was in the meeting that Secret Service, the update meeting that Secret Service gave about the investigation. He was not at all impressed. Here's what he said.
Birch just left the most ridiculous meeting of all time with the Secret Service over the cocaine that was found in the White House. So it turns out they don't know who did it. The investigation's going to be over at the end of the week, and they're not going to find out who did it. And that's basically it. Another cover-up. It's the most secure building in the entire world. You can't go in there. They have facial identification. You got to give your social security number. Nobody, even the press, nobody goes in there without them knowing. This is a bad look on the Secret Service and a horrible look on this White House. So more cover-ups continue.
Aren't we all kind of sick of this? Like the cover-up stuff?
So
And this is
sick.
This is what, the third time that drugs have been, not that illegal drugs have been in the White House?
That's what I was
Yeah.
starting to hear rumors about yesterday.
The
Yeah.
third time. So, I mean, it's like now people are starting to go, okay, this is getting a little ridiculous because this is supposed to be the safest, most secure place basically in the world. It's the White House. And they can't figure out, come on, like we know better. We all know that this is just a big pile of garbage, what they're spewing to us now. That they are totally lying to us.
Yeah. I mean,
We
this
all
does
know it.
think of a big fat cover up for sure.
Right. It's like now it's just, and now we know that when it comes to like 2 tiers of justice and all that, it's all a big sham. They are lying to us. I mean, they absolutely can find out who did this and whose coke it was. And now they're just like, it's a cover up. It is an absolute cover up.
And now they've reached the point where they know they can continue to cover stuff up and nothing happens.
Right.
Because nothing happens, right?
Yep.
And we all just have to bitch about it and then just sit here and be frustrated. And it's making me crazy that this is so
and you know, if
brazen of them now.
If you worked in the Secret Service, shame on you.
Well,
You know,
that's
it's like-
interesting that you say that because the next clip I have is of a former Secret Service woman explaining why this is all completely fine. This is all fine, you guys.
Combination of the two. You know, some people at home will say, wait, this is the White House. It's cocaine. This should be like an immediate, we know who done it. Does it surprise you, though, that after 11 days, there isn't a conclusion about who brought cocaine into the White House?
No, it doesn't surprise me because having worked there, and actually I was a part of the team that did the access control for the perimeter of the White House, those checkpoints are designed for weapons. They're designed for chemical, biological agents, radioactive agents. That's what really they're designed. The issue here is because of the size of the packet. Now, where that cocaine was actually found was in a cubbyhole area where people put their phones, and that's located in a sensitive area within the White House. And the issue with putting a camera there is the sensitivity of the people moving through that area. So because of the small amount, that's why they're not detecting. So if you're thinking about could they lift off DNA, and actually the number is closer, Aaron, it's closer to 600 people. Those are a lot of people coming in, and this entry point is for these White House tours. They're privileged White House tours, meaning staff can bring in these folks. And then in addition to that, you have staff, and then also VIPs. That's what makes it so difficult to track down. So is it a shame that we don't know who it is? Yes, of course, because it's the White House. But is it a security failure? It's not.
I don't buy any of this crap.
Same.
I mean, on 9/11, they can find somebody who was like, I don't know, blocks away on a lawn somewhere behind a tree. I just don't buy any of the garbage that they're selling me right now. The White House is so locked down. They know exactly who's coming and going. They know everything about those people. It's all a big bag of crap, what they're trying to sell us. I just don't buy any of it. They lie to us constantly. They're lying to us now. It's all a bunch of lies.
Nancy King, thank you. Nancy has a good question. She says, why or how did the media find out about the cocaine? Why wasn't it kept secret? And I don't know the answer to that.
It's a great question.
I do not know who the original person was that said, hey, FYI.
And the location, notice how the location changed like 3 times. It's all a big crock of shit. They lie. I mean, they just lie. And
oh my gosh.
And how can any of us trust what they tell us about anything at this point? It's just garbage.
Speaking of lying, John Kerry was at a House hearing yesterday, ostensibly about the climate. I'm sure he talked about other things too, but that's his big gig right now. And there was one point, this isn't the clip that I have for you, but there was one point where he was asked directly about flying in his private jet. And he had the stones to say that he has never owned a private jet and that he continues not to own a private jet, even though his wife owned a private jet. And so it's all nonsense. We'll get to Jesse Waters breaking that down in just a second. But first, there was a wonderful moment where Representative Scott Perry started grilling John Kerry about some of his plans on how to combat climate change and spend tons and tons of money. And when I say tons of money, we are now talking about quadrillions of dollars. So forget trillions. That's small potatoes, you guys. Now we are into the quadrillions, which isn't even real.
I don't even
that's
understand.
Not a thing.
Right.
So here he is getting called out.
December of 2022, you told the Washington Post we need to remove 1.6 trillion tons of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere via direct air capture. The cost for that is about $1,000 per ton, or $1.6 quadrillion. Now, you said you didn't know, but since 2015, since the last El Nino, about 500 billion tons have been emitted into the atmosphere. During that same period of time, 2015, if you look at the temperature graph, this is from NOAA. The temperature has gone down. Show the next slide. This is from NASA satellite data. Temperature has gone down. You want to have the American taxpayers, my constituents that are having a hard time afford their groceries, pay for a car, buy a new home, spend $1.6 quadrillion to fix a problem that A, doesn't exist, and as a matter of fact, you might be exacerbating, because it's unknown. It is unknown at this time the low level of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere that might actually destroy life, because plant life all depends. As you know, Secretary, plant life all depends on CO2. And when we kill it, then we're done too. I yield the balance.
Congressman, I don't agree with what you're saying out there for any number of reasons. I don't have time to go into all of them now, but I'll just tell you point blank that the difference between the periods you're looking at in terms of heat, et cetera, and human input is night and day, number one. Number two, why do you think 195 countries in the world, their prime ministers, their presidents?
Because they're grifting like you are, sir.
That's a pretty shocking statement, that you believe that all the scientists in the world are grifters, honestly.
Not all scientists agree with you, Mr. Secretary.
98% of all the scientists in the world.
Science isn't about agreement. It's not about consensus. You know that.
Chair now recognizes.
God, what a piece of crap this guy is.
So awful.
I'm just a pompous ass. And then I don't know if you've got the whole like why he's allowed to travel on a private jet, because I know we're going to get to the whole private jet thing and him not owning a private jet, but he was also asked about just being able to fly on a private jet and why he is able to do that as opposed to like flying or not flying at all. You know, I mean, it's like, and he's like, I'm special. He actually truly believes that he's special and that he's able to fly private and you guys aren't. And
he says it's because he's spending 100% of his time fighting climate change.
Right.
I think it cancels out when you take private jets everywhere.
I mean, and that's how these people truly think. They believe in their brains and in their hearts, they believe that they're better than you.
Yep.
They're better. Like they are true elitists. And he is the king of the elitists, this guy. He thinks he's better than you and he knows what's best for you. And he wants your money. That's all these people want, is they want your money and they want to staple it to the clouds. That's what they want to do.
They want to staple $1.6 quadrillion of it.
Yeah. And if that's not a grift, I don't know what is.
Oh my God. Yeah. Such a grift. Here's Jesse Waters with more on the whole private jet thing.
And once you fly private, you can never go back to commercial. Just ask John Kerry. It's the only choice for people like him to travel.
I understand that you came here with a private jet. Is that an environmental way to travel?
If you offset your carbon, it's the only choice for somebody like me. The time it takes me to get somewhere, I can't sail across the ocean. I have to fly to meet with people and get things done. But what I'm doing almost full time is working to win the battle of climate change.
Don't you see, you have to kill the planet to save the planet. And boy, oh boy, did John Kerry do a lot of planet saving on the family jet. It's called the Flying Squirrel. Did he ever use the gas-guzzling jet while operating as Joe Biden's climate crusader? He was asked this today on Capitol Hill.
Have you flown on a private jet in a personal or official capacity since you've taken this position?
Possibly once.
Oh my God.
That doesn't feel right. Because according to Fox News analysis, the Flying Squirrel's made 48 trips since Kerry was appointed climate czar back in 2020. South Korea, Sweden, Saudi Arabia. Doesn't feel like he's telling the whole truth. Wait, did Kerry own the squirrel?
Oh my God.
And he says, what jet?
We don't own a private jet. I don't own a private jet. I personally have never owned a private jet. And obviously, it's pretty stupid to talk about coming in a private jet from the State Department up here. It just, honestly, if that's where you want to go there.
This
Okay.
is semantics. He's saying he's never owned a private plane. Technically, that could be true. But his wife owns the plane, and he used it a lot. That's like saying I don't own a car. I drive my wife's Hummer. And eventually his family sold the squirrel. So how can you sell a jet without owning it, John? Here's the problem. If you want to lie about using your jet, that's fine. But when you lie about something so obvious, it makes it impossible for people like me to believe you about anything else you talk about, like climate change.
Exactly. Precisely.
What? Just a total sleazeball that guy
Yeah,
is.
he absolutely is sleazy, and he's the face of climate change.
Mm.
And then people on the left will fawn all over him and think that he's right about this stuff. How can you trust somebody like that?
I know.
How can you put your faith in somebody like him? Like,
And
he
did you
is-
see I posted this yesterday at chicksontheright.com. The climate activists are now cementing their hands to airport runways.
Yep.
And
then
I'm
they're-
like, just run. Just keep the planes going. That's the
Uh-huh.
best way to stop this.
and their hands are getting caught in there, so they may have to get their hands amputated. Isn't that? Did I read that right? Like they're
well, there's some question about that, but some people are saying that that's not true. But yeah,
would
there's
you-
a lot of pictures of them with their hands stuck in the cement that they've been, pried off of. It's so
Right.
stupid.
Would you feel sorry for him if that actually had to happen, though?
No,
If they
which is
got
why
their
I think
hand-
the plane should keep running. Don't stop all air travel because
No.
these clowns freaking
Exactly.
fly the planes. If they get run over, that is on them.
Yeah, did they run out of like Rembrandts to ruin?
Pretty
this
much.
This is the thing. Out of beautiful art to go in and ruin. I mean, these people are lunatics.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting thing about RFK Jr. He has long been thought of as a climate activist in many ways, but he sort of clarified his stance on the climate change and all of that stuff and the things that we need to do to combat it. I think he was being interviewed by Jordan Peterson. Here he is explaining.
I've seen the climate apocalypse use fear to induce something approximating the same kind of level of tyranny, as far as I'm concerned, that characterized the vaccine lockdown. So help me sort that out.
First of all, let me just say this about climate. I believe that carbon in the atmosphere and methane does increase warming. Look around, you can see it everywhere. Ice caps are melting, etc. The Greenland ice sheet. I spent a lot of time outdoors, and I see over 69 years, I've seen the changes, and I've seen the mass migration of animals, of southern animals like black vultures, the northern increase in their ranges. I've kept track since I was a kid about when the leaves turns, and it's steadily moved up each year. And so I see that. All of my senses are telling me that the warming is occurring. My opinion is basically, as I said, it's based on common sense. I agree 100% with you that this crisis is being used as a pretext for clamping down totalitarian controls the same way that the COVID crisis was. And it's the same people, it's intelligence agencies, it's the World Economic Forum, it's the Billionaires Voice Club at Davos, and it's the same kind of cabal of people who will use every crisis to stratify society toward, greater power for the super rich and greater power for the military, greater power for the intelligence apparatus, and less power for everybody else. A war on carbon is not going to solve the problem. If we don't have a habitat left at the end, my approach to energy is using free markets and not top-down control. We can recover what we had, but we just have to stay out of fear, because that is the weapon of tyrants. If you like this video,
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because he recognizes that there's a problem. Okay, so he believes in climate change, but then he's like, but these people are using that as a way to gain power.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I can respect that. I can respect that way of thinking. And he's like, and I don't want those people to do that, because
Right.
that's precisely what they're doing.
And
They're
it doesn't
using-
actually address the problem. I mean, it doesn't
Right.
actually fix climate change.
No.
The quadrillions of dollars that they want to spend.
What it does is it just turns people into tyrants, and then it seizes power from the people, which is precisely what you should not be doing in a free United States of America. So at least he recognizes that. I mean, I can respect that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, we can think differently, but at the end of the day, this is America. You cannot spend $2 quadrillion to change the freaking weather. I mean, it's
Right.
like, this is
especially when other countries are not doing anything at all.
right. This is, that's kind of cool. I can respect that,
Yeah, I like that.
Mhm.
Greg Gutfeld, I remember when Geraldo Rivera got fired from the Five.
Yes.
So Geraldo went on The View to talk about that, and the women were like asking, so who are you fighting with? Like, who? Tell us the gossip. And he was like, I'm not quite ready to say names.
Yeah.
Everybody knows it's Greg. And so Greg completely made fun of him and his appearance on The View, and it was just hilarious. Check this out.
Let's go to The View, where I'd like to report a murder.
I was fired from the Five. I had a very toxic relationship with another of the cast members.
Which one? Was it Ryan?
I may get there. I may get there if you really, if you really if you check the incident. Also, I thought that it was very unfair that I was not judged objectively in our disputes, but rather he was always favored.
No. Poor thing. In lieu of flowers, we set up a GoFundMe page to get him a barber. But I credit The View for finally finding a guest with a bigger mustache than their panelists. They're a hairy bunch.
Oh my God, so great. Why would he do that? Why would he go running to The View and bitching about Greg?
Do?
Why? I don't know. Sit on his boat shirtless and do it in a TikTok.
I mean, he's already capped out on how white he can make his teeth. So that's not on his list of to-dos. So
I know, right? And how shirtless he can be in social media. Dude, stop it.
Oh my God.
God.
So ridiculous. Just to give you an example of the ridiculous shenanigans that take place on the House floor. This was a moment that happened yesterday that's unbelievable. I don't know who this representative is. I don't know who the other representative is. It doesn't matter. What you need to know is that there's a Republican representative from Arizona who is presenting us his thoughts. And as he's presenting them, he's not particularly the best communicator. I'll say that. I don't know anything about this guy. I'm sure he's a lovely fellow. He's not a strong communicator. And in his time at the podium, he uses the phrase colored people, which, as you know, is part of the acronym, the NAACP. That's what the CP stands for.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently, you're not allowed to say those words out loud. You're only allowed to use the acronym, or maybe if you're a Black person, you can say the word. I don't know what the rules are.
If you're a white person, you definitely cannot say those words.
Which is absurd, because if you're asked as a white person, hey, what does the NAACP stand for? What are you supposed to do?
You're supposed to say, let me let this Black person say it, because I can't say it, because I'm a person of color. I'm
not allowed.
I need to refer to this person over here because I'm not allowed to say anything because I'll get in trouble. I just can't say the words. Right.
Anyway, he says it, and then what you can hear when he says it, that this other congresswoman who is a Black woman is just like, acts like she's been murdered. And so she raises a big stink about it and wants the word to be stricken from the record. And then you guys, they go through a whole rigmarole of debating whether or not it should be stricken, striking it. Then this clown actually says, well, can I just change it to people of color? And that's the point during this video where I was just like, I cannot believe this is how Congress spends their time. I cannot believe it.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to let you see it for yourself, because it was so frustrating to watch. And I don't want to be the only frustrated one.
And though that was unbelievably inspiring, my amendment has nothing to do with whether or not colored people or Black people or anybody can serve, okay? It has nothing to do with color of your skin, any of that stuff. What we want to preserve and maintain is the fact that our military does not become a social experiment. We want the best of the best. We want to have standards that guide who's in what unit, what they do. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, the Russians, the Chinese, the Iranians, the North Koreans, they are not doing this because they want the strongest military possible. I hope my colleagues on the other side can understand what we're doing. Thank you so much.
Mr. Speaker, it's going to be recognized
to have the words colored people.
For what purposes, gentlelady, seek recognition?
I'd like to be recognized to have the words colored people stricken from the record. I find it offensive and very inappropriate.
Okay.
Is the gentlelady asking for unanimous consent to take down the words?
I am asking for unanimous consent to take down the words of referring to me or any of my colleagues as colored people.
Oh my God, I cannot. I can't.
For what purposes, the gentleman from Arizona?
Can I amend my comments to people of color?
Why?
The gentleman wishes to amend his comments.
He should have said something right there. Well, then what about the NAACP?
Is the gentleman asking consent?
Mr. Speaker, to have the words stricken.
For crying out loud.
I didn't ask for an amendment.
Is there unanimous consent to have the words stricken?
Without objection, so ordered.
Without objection, so ordered.
This is what's going on. This is how they're spending their time.
Absurd. This is just so stupid. It's so dumb. What he should have.
I can't.
I know I know, Kathleen. They get paid for this. They get paid. This is the thing. Why didn't he just say in that moment? He should have asked, are you a member of the NAACP? Are you a member of that? Because they insult you every day with you being a member. They're just insulting.
Like I said, he's not the greatest communicator. Otherwise, I would have thought that would have been his go-to. That should be the go-to. You don't get to say that you can't say this word. It's the same if you say CP or POC. It's the same. I don't understand how they can make such a stink about this.
Yeah, but they do. They do. Yeah, it's the same. It is exactly the same, but it's not the same. Mock, it's not the same. You are a white supremacist. It's not, because it means everything.
It means everything. Yeah,
it's everything. It's the difference between you being a racist or not. It's the you guys.
That of makes all the difference.
Right.
It is time for your whack.
Okay, I cannot see this alone. It was it happened yesterday. I saw it yesterday. I didn't think it was real at first, but then I was like, it's real.
It's real.
I'm so sick of having to boycott every single company. I really am. And yesterday I was like, at 2, Maybelline, at 2, when I saw this.
Out. On Amazon, so why not see if Maybelline has any deals going on? And look at that, Super Stay Vinyl Ink is 30% off, and my favorite colors are in stock and ready to ship. My Amazon order arrived the next day, and here I am filming a makeup review. And baby, check out this color and shine. It's so comfortable, and it will not budge or smudge for up to 16 hours. Let me know what you think, and shop Maybelline Prime deals for 30% off right now.
Oh, I'll let you know what I think. I think that is freaking ridiculous. Who are they trying to sell makeup to?
I guess that dude now.
I mean, he's a bald bearded dude
with super dragon lady nails.
I mean, that's insanity. Maybelline is like a mainstay when it comes to makeup. I mean, it's like a go-to. It's an old school brand, Maybelline. Yeah. What are they doing?
Why am I going to have to change my mascara?
I know, right? Why are they doing this? And he's not even pretty. He's not even trying.
That's definitely not the word I would use.
This is the thing. If you're gonna be transgender, at least try. At least try to look like a woman, for crying out loud. Put some effort in.
Did you see that Dylan Mulvaney wore his nipples were out?
Yeah, I saw the nips were out. I saw that on Daily Mail this morning. And I thought he moved to Peru because he felt unsafe.
No, unfortunately he was just vacationing.
He just came right back. Yeah. And then his nipples are coming out. At some point I gotta buy makeup, So irritating. I know I don't. This is the thing. Maybelline it is a go-to for the cheap stuff. There are certain things, but now I'm looking at that and I'm like, I'm not gonna buy it anymore.
I love Becky's comment. She's like, maybe he's born with it. No, wait,
he's not. He's not born with
He's
it.
not born with that.
But I mean, it's like, and that's got to get caught in there, you know?
Ew.
Yeah.
But then he's got the nails to pick it out.
He does look like a circus freak. He looks like one of those like bearded ladies at the circus. Mm-hmm.
Oh God. All right.
Everything is disgusting. Everything is disgusting, Karen. All of it.
It's time for some My Pillow talks. I do have a longer one that's sort of not our normal talk to play of Tim Ballard of Sound of Freedom, the person about who the movie is made. Tim Ballard is the one that does the rescuing of kids. In this video, he's talking about his own personal experience of having kids and adding kids to his family. And it's just the most unbelievably like the story that you cannot turn away from. He's such a good storyteller. And this is an amazing story. And I know you guys are all going to love it. And so I thought we've got to play this. Don't forget to get your My Pillow stuff at mypillow.com/chicks. 50% off the Giza Dream Sheets right now. Huge discounts on everything else when you use code chicks at mypillow.com/chicks. Listen to this amazing story.
I get this intel about this orphanage. We're actually looking for an American citizen child who had been kidnapped in Haiti, and all evidence led to this false orphanage. And I remember working with the police, and they said, we don't know what this place is. It wasn't a registered orphanage, so they're clearly selling kids. I'm standing at this gate under the instruction of the Haitian government to go in undercover. I have cameras all over me. And I'm going in to look for this one little boy we're looking for, but they said, look, if they're selling kids to you, you have to buy one. And that will catch them in the act, and we'll know what their intent is, what they're doing. So something happened outside that gate. I looked in, and I had never seen so many kids. My defenses let down, and I started having this occurrence that I'm supposed to fight, which is I start seeing my kids' faces again. And I'm like, okay, standing outside the gate, let's do my practices, let's do my meditation, get it out. And something told me, I think it was God, don't do it. And I was so scared because I'm like, am I going to freak out? So I walk into the place, and within minutes, they're offering me this, whatever I want. I was like walking to a pet store. This one's beautiful. This one does this. I turn around and I see this little boy, and he didn't see me. I was looking at the back of his head. But something happened, some cool spiritual connection, because this little boy just about faces, looks right at me. He's about a year and a half.
Oh my God.
Throws his hands in the air and walks over to me. And I pick him up and I hold him. And I just felt this call, like, this is the one you're supposed to buy. So I walk into this outbuilding, and the deeper I get into the belly of this smelly, dark edifice, the quieter it gets. And I flip around, and there's this beautiful child with a bloody gash over her eye. There's a lot of abuse happening. The teacher, there's a guy named the teacher there who literally carried a whip around his neck. So I'm curious, there's this little girl, and she's looking at me like pissed, like she's going to scream or something. So I give her a candy bar, and I tell her, take it outside and eat it outside, which always works. You know, I have a bunch of kids, this works. But this little girl does something I've never seen a kid do. She takes that candy bar and she cuts it in half. It was like muscle memory, not even thinking, and placed the other half of the bar into this little boy's hands. And that's when it hit me. This little boy is a little brother. So I kneel down and take both their hands and tell them, it's the first time I ever broke the cardinal rule of undercover operations by revealing who I was. And I told them through the best Creole that I could and a little English, and they got it. I'm on your side. I'm not taking your little brother. We're staying together. You're staying together. We end up getting to the hotel. The deal is done. Money's exchanged. The cops come in, arrest everybody, and it's awesome. It's a great thing. They raid the orphanage, get the other 26 kids out and into good homes and good places. And I call my wife that night. I hear this silence on the other line as I tell this story, and she says, where are their parents? So the parents are dead. Where are they going to go now? Well, they're going to go to an orphanage in Haiti that's at least safe. They're not selling the kids, at least. And she said, I can't let that happen. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, I want to be their mother. I said, what are you, crazy? We have 6 kids. I just quit my job. We have no savings. And she's like, I don't care. That has no bearing on this decision. When I feel it, I'm going to do it. We worked on it for several years and brought Coley and Colleen, my brother and sister, home, and they're now our
God bless
family.
them.
And it was the best thing I ever did.
God bless him.
Amazing story.
God, I just love that.
Isn't
I
that the
just love that.
greatest?
And he's getting so much hatred, from you just see so much stuff, so many daggers, verbal daggers being thrown at him. I'm seeing it from, all angles too. Like I don't know if I want to say it's from conservatives. I don't even know who these people are, but people are coming after him and saying, that he's on the wrong side. Like you just see in comments, like you just see, cause I always read the comments, but people are coming after him just because I just think, those are the evil people, they're just, there's always evil in this world. And the people will come after him at all costs because they just want so badly for this evil to stay in place.
And to discredit a movie that has Jim Caviezel in it.
Exactly. And so I just, I read some of those comments and I'm like, you're on the wrong side, man. You're just you're on the wrong side. Like that is what a remarkable story, what a remarkable guy.
I know. And all he wants to do is save kids and people are going to rip him for that. What the hell?
Yeah.
It just makes no sense to me. Another story that you guys, I think, are going to love. This is a farm, a rescue animal farm. They have tons and tons of all different kinds of animals, but what they do not have, and they do not have apparently the resources for this particular animal, is a groundhog. But that doesn't matter to this little guy.
So this little guy showed up in the barn this morning, and Brian chased him out because what was he doing in the barn? He is not part of the rescue program. We thought he ran off. He came back. All the animals are super confused. What is he? What's he doing?
What a cutie.
Why does he keep following Brian everywhere? Everywhere. If Brian's trying to mow the yard, this guy comes and throws himself in front of the mower over and over again. What is happening with this groundhog? He just kept doing it. And Brian was having to mow, super careful, not to hurt him, watch where he was. And he would just lay there, and Brian couldn't even mow, and would wait for him to move. We even went and checked on him a few times to see, was he okay? Did you need help, buddy? Is something wrong?
Oh my God.
Please don't have rabies. Please don't have rabies. And this is about when I'm yelling at Brian not to touch him, not to pet him. He's not cuddly. It's a groundhog. You can't cuddle him.
Yes, you can.
So he just seemed kind of like he wanted a friend, or maybe he was hot. So we did put out a bowl of water for him, but he just kept following Brian everywhere. And this is when Brian lost his mind and went and got some baby carrots because that seemed like a great idea.
Yeah, it's so. Oh my God.
What is happening here? I need some wildlife people to weigh in on this groundhog. Is this dangerous? Like, is something wrong with this animal? Do we need to help it? Or is it just lonely and it needs a buddy? I'm pretty sure that's when I yelled at Brian to get rid of the carrots. I couldn't tell what the groundhog was going to do. I just didn't want him to get bitten and have to go through all the rabies shots.
Wow.
And this is when he starts just throwing himself in the grass. He goes flat, completely flat. He's not dead. He's okay. He'll pop back up here in a second. Yep. It's like a mini nap. What's he doing? What's happening?
He is pretty cute.
And this one he notices me and he starts to run at me, and I'm in flip-flops, and so I have to run away.
I'd be freaking out.
And then he goes flat again. So I just keep thinking he's hot because it's a really hot day. And I feel bad for him. and then he'll wander away for a while, and then he'll come back. So if anybody knows what's going on.
Anyway, she names him Greg.
Oh my gosh, are you serious? Did they ever figure out what the deal was with him?
No, and they named him. They keep putting out like a little bit of food and water for him, and sometimes he'll just come back, but he's not part of their farm.
And he's not rabid. He's just
and he doesn't seem to be rabid. So at some point, I feel like there's going to be a video where he's in the house and they're cuddling. Because that's what I would do.
He's in their bed and he's sleeping in it. Greg. His name is Greg.
His name is Greg, though.
His name is Greg. All right. Greg, the groundhog.
Greg the groundhog. Also, look at this precious thing. Look at this.
Oh my God.
What do I do with it? Is this your first day being a white woman? Take him home. You name him Andrew. This is Andrew in a bow tie.
Oh my God.
The ring bearer at your wedding. You're going to register him as your emotional support trash panda. You're going to get one of those baby harnesses to carry him around.
Don't.
Till eventually
Don't do
being his owner becomes your whole ass personality.
No.
What do I do with it? Is this your first day being a white woman?
It's not my first day. I would know exactly what to do with him.
Oh my gosh. White women. White women and their trash pandas.
And then you remember the cuddly cat from the other day?
Yes, I do.
It's back.
Can you guys hear Coda?
Look at this sweet, precious angel.
God, I need a cat just like this.
And it's listen to the purring.
That is heaven right there. Can you guys hear Coda?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Can you hear him? Coda's freaking out right now. He's so mad.
Okay, you should probably go deal with him.
Yeah, Coda's so mad, you guys. So mad. And
we got to cut it a little short anyway today because I have an errand to run. Got to take my husband somewhere, so we can't stay too much longer anyway.
Everybody's mad. I know. It's like he is pitiful and sad. He's trust me, he's safe.
He's fine.
He's safe. He's in a crate. He doesn't have a collar on. He's safe. He's totally fine. He's got like 4 stuffed animals and a bone. He's fine. Totally. He's very spoiled. He's
so mad.
Such a baby, you guys.
Anyway.
Such a baby. And then I'll take him for a walk on pasture right after this. We'll go see the cows. He's such a baby.
Is Cash in there with you?
Cash is on the ground right now, aren't you, buddy? He's enjoying.
Is he gonna flap?
You gonna flap? Can you get up?
It's the weekend.
Can you get up and flap for everybody? Come here, baby. Come here and say hi to everybody. Come here. He's gonna get up. Come here.
He's gonna do it.
Come over here and say hi to everybody. Come here and see me. Come here and see me. Say hi to everybody. Come over here. No, come over here so everybody can see your face. Can you flap? Can you flap? Can you flap? There it is. There's the flaps. Weekend flaps for everybody. Weekend flaps. He's like my brother. Is just ridiculous. Such a big baby in the other room. You guys, it's going to be a great Friday. Have a fantastic weekend. And we will talk to you on Monday. Bye. Bye, everybody.